Good morning, gang. Happy Wednesday morning. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had your wallet or your purse stolen and gone through that nightmare? Okay. You're running around, got to go get a new driver's license. You've got to cancel all your credit cards, your debit cards, lost pictures of the kids. God forbid you got your Social Security card in your wallet, which still so many people do. It's a nightmare. You just got yourself a day's worth of work trying to fix all that, and it really messes up you going through life. It's like, oh crap, how am I going to go to the grocery store, put gas in the car, do whatever? How about having your identity stolen? Okay, ever had that? Somebody gets that information and all of a sudden there's a car loan in your name or a credit card in your name, a signature loan in your name. And now you've got to spend all the time fighting that, saying, no, it wasn't me. It's amazing how many people do not take any precautions whatsoever to protect themselves. And what's even more amazing is when people voluntarily don't. You know, you look at it, it's illegal, but you get your credit card statement in the mail every month. There's nothing that says some kid can't drive down the street, reach into your mailbox real quick and grab your mail, and all of a sudden he's got your credit card number. And miraculously, you have strange charges to Amazon a couple of days later. I actually had this happen maybe about a month ago or so, where I got a text from one of my credit cards asking if I had made these charges, and it was to a bar down in Houston at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, no, I live in Texas, or I live in Tennessee. And I said, it wasn't me. I mean, they refunded it and everything, talked to them. It's like, oh yeah, the bartender manually entered the credit card information. Okay. How somebody down in Texas got my credit card number, and you figure the fail-safes that are in there, not only did they get the number, they got the expiration date, and they got the CVV code. So, was it somebody literally at the bank that issued the credit card that decided to steal my information? It's possible. Okay. We give up that information all the time. Banks now, you've probably seen it on your debit card, on your bank statement, on your credit cards or whatever, for your debit card, your credit card, whatever, where you can use a alternative credit card number. So the vendor, when you're buying something online, so the vendor doesn't know what your actual credit card is. I would highly suggest doing that, because, all right, if you're ordering from Amazon, Walmart, JCPenney, whoever, you're probably pretty safe entering your credit card information. But how many things have you bought from some company online that you've never heard of before, right? How many of you have ever bought something from Temu or Alibaba or one of these Chinese companies? I guarantee you your credit card information is now out on the dark web. Okay. We are blindly trusting of the security systems put in place to protect who we are. And then we get into a situation where people voluntarily give up their autonomy. If you saw this week, 23andMe, okay, if you know this company, filed bankruptcy. Now, forever, it has never made sense to me why anybody participated in 23andMe. It was marketed, oh, check your genealogy. You can find out where you're from. what your blood tells you about, or, your saliva or anything tells you about your heritage. And, we can go back. You have 0.01% Neanderthal in you. Great, just in case I ever have a chance to meet some other Neanderthals, we can say we're related. All right. The craziness that you guys have all seen in that too. People sending their dog's DNA or their parrot's DNA in, and it comes back, and, you're part Colombian, and, it's like it's another human being. Okay. So a lot of it was just BS. You think of all the psychics, let's say this. It's like, oh, well, let's see what information we have. I'll make up a name. I don't know, Bob Apodaca. I think he was a baseball player one time. Okay. Well, with that kind of heritage, chances are, he's from, I don't know, pick something, Colombia, and, well, because of the border changes, Colombia is close to Ecuador, so maybe he had some Ecuadorian blood in, or, maybe he's got some Brazil. So they start just throwing shit on a piece of paper and say, oh, this is what you are. And people are like, oh, look how fabulous this is, Thank you for separating yourself from your money. Okay. But that's how it was promoted. And a lot of people fell for it. Again, typical way of doing things. Rather than go do the research to find out your genealogy, we'll just do it genetically. Rather than go find birth certificates and death certificates and marriage certificates and, doing a family tree like was done for years. Okay. Hey, now you can just figure this all out genetically. Great. Won't tell you who your relatives were. Just tells you where you're from. Okay. And then all of a sudden, they crossed the slippery slope. And 23andMe decided, hey, you know what? The government wants access to this database of DNA so they can cross-match DNA to potentially find killers or rapists or bank robbers or whatever, And at first people thought, hey, this was pretty cool. We found, there was one serial killer, Long Beach killer or something like that was found out in California because his grandkid or something like that, or maybe a son, I don't remember who it was, had done 23andMe, and they matched the mitochondrial DNA to the killer and eventually figured out who this guy was. All right, so you can say, hey, this is cool. But did people ever acknowledge we can potentially sell your DNA, your identity, to the government? And I know before people say anything, I laugh at all this. Elon Musk wants your social security card so he can attack your bank account. No, Elon Musk doesn't care about the $170 you've got in your checking account. He's the richest man in the world. Okay. Yes, the government has our social security number. After all, they're the ones that gave it to us. Okay. They know what your income is. Oh, they know where you bank. All this stuff is reported. Okay. They know how much you make. We're coming into tax time, and you get your 1099 or your W-2s, and the business, the company you work for, has to send those to the government too. So they know, so it's not a big deal there. But I didn't ever, besides do 23andMe, authorize them to have access to my DNA. Okay? And so this caused 23andMe to lose a lot of business because all of a sudden people started thinking, hey, I don't want to be in a national database of DNA. Now, a lot of us are in national databases for fingerprints, okay? Me from the military, me from getting my license as a broker, okay? Yeah, I've been fingerprinted, okay? People ever been arrested, you're fingerprinted. But when's the last time you heard of a crime that was solved via fingerprints? It's like, no, we got to get DNA. Okay, DNA seems to be the answer to everything. So now 23andMe is filing bankruptcy. And, okay, who's going to buy the company? And what data are they going to get? Well, 23andMe obviously has all the data from all the DNA tests they've run, including Fido and Poly. Okay. And so now some other company who you have never, ever heard of, dealt with, whatever, is going to have access to that data. Here's the next question. Did they also save the DNA samples that were sent? Probably, okay? So now some company has your DNA, okay? This is a little more than just AI. James Earl Jones saying, yes, I will give you license to use my voice for Darth Vader even after I'm gone. Okay, no problem. Now your DNA is out there for some company to do with whatever they want with it because, well, we don't have a contract with Joe Smith, so we just have this DNA, or they don't even worry about it legally. And I don't know, could it be a Chinese company that buys your DNA? Not that they're planning on cloning you. Could it be a Ukrainian company that buys 23andMe? And all of a sudden, I don't know, Wuhan comes to mind, 11 different facilities in Ukraine come to mind, and could they start be using your DNA to create bioweapons? What could they do with it? Even the California Attorney General, California, mind you, liberal California, who's like, oh, all this stuff is great. The California AG said, delete all your information from 23andMe before this bankruptcy sale goes through. How effective it's going to be, who knows? But it's worth a start. At least get your information out of the system, or at least make it known somehow through their system in this bankruptcy court that you do not authorize your DNA to be sold. Again, how effective? I don't know. Get on their website and delete all this stuff. If you ever did this, you can count on it being used against you. It has everywhere else. Your stolen credit card, your stolen driver's license, your stolen social security number, your stolen passport. Now they are going to steal the complete essence of you, your DNA. The media is talking a little bit about this and glossing it over. And I know there's people who go, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory. They won't do anything like that. Right. Okay. If you keep trusting all these people to be on your good side, don't come crying when all of a sudden they're on your bad side. Right? I don't personally have to worry. I never did it. But I certainly don't want to find out later on in life that my DNA was used to create WuFlu 2. They say, well, gee, they might be able to use your DNA and cure cancer. Right. Okay, sure. I'll take that risk that they don't use it for nefarious purposes, because it's amazing how we've been trying to find a cure for cancer for, 70 years at least. But man, we were able to find a deadly disease in months. What's more profitable? What's the globalist community want to do? Oh, I don't know. Depopulation? If they've got everybody's DNA and it gets into the wrong hands, so look what happens when these cyber criminals get a hold of a credit card or a bank account or hack into a business, and the Millions upon billions of dollars they steal. What do you think the ransom would be when we go, we've got the world's DNA right here at our hands, and we're turning it into a bioweapon? Get your info off of there ASAP. Pinball out.